in a second here, but we'll start on a lighter note. Then I was going to ask for reflections, and you're very welcome to stay for Coronitas. I hope you do. It's Charlie mentioned it's kind of our annual, our weekly. We'll keep it just to the Coronitas part today. All right, so a couple things. So I was gonna. I thought this is always fun. Who said this? Oh, Dan said one of the things I laughed about was like when you don't ask your kid like how your day was, just share a problem. Here's another thing I found that never ceases to not work. Show them your dance video. My kids just think it's hilarious how bad I am. So I was gonna do two things. I'm gonna show one our dance video, just a couple minute snippet from it. And then, if you guys don't mind, I'll hijack you to watch. The Boston dance team won best dance. We didn't win the whole office thing this year, but we did get best dance. So I'll show you the best dance. And the only reason I say this is that you can see how bad I am. Unfortunately, I'm like right in the middle there, which is awful. Joy's kind of there, but as bad as Joy's actually, I was telling her, she's like picks things up so fast. I'm the worst at picking things up in dance. But our dance, I was in our dance video. Totally ruin it this year. So you want to just. I mean, that just. It's just awkward. It's I mean, somewhat. Where's George? George, there was a time when like you were going and like I was going to the right and then you left and you were going to left and right and we kept like bumping each other. Liz Kevlar, I must have stepped in her foot like about 10 times. All right, so go to the last minute. Now we do get better. We do get somewhat better at the end. Oh, let's just. Which group is this? Is this group? Oh, this is group 1.
I feel like I'm being in trouble.
But who's that in the back? Wow, you're going crazy. I love it. We got to recruit you for our dance team. So this one's me. All right, so this is group 2. Wow. That's probably good. All right, group 3. You can see how excited group 3 is. Rudy, this is going to be you when you come back for Feedback Academy. Now he knows. It's true. He'll be training. All right, group 4, George right in the middle. Here we go, George. Here we go. Sue, you're looking good, Sue. Well done, well done. So, I want to say, I think this is our third one we've done with Academy for Dance, but I would say that was reflective. That was by far the most spirit I've had in an academy on the dance part of getting into it, going with it, and I think it was reflective of this academy from you guys of just. I did not comment on skill. I did not comment on skill. That was, but I think it was reflective of this academy. So maybe before we start reflection, one last thing: it can get better with development. It can get better. So this is our the winning one that won the dance competition this year. Go ahead. So that's Jason there. All right. Joy, well done. Well done. So there is hope. There is hope.
Well, Bob Burke offered in his living room. Charlie Megan showed this to him. He's like, oh, I gotta see it. So he started streaming it in his living room on his TV, his Apple TV. And then he said, you know, we gotta do this in the middle of the Pentagon. There's that courtyard. And to have an armed forces dance battle.
Against next show.
Against it.
All right, so maybe I'll turn this over now. We'll just go around. It doesn't have to be in order. Any kind of just reflections and takeaways. So let's see, where's kind of our team? Rachel's here. We're good. But I think this is really helpful. A lot of the people that you kind of interacted with were in the academy. a lot of the other people are holding down the fort for the business here in other offices. So it's helpful just to hear reflection. So anyone want to be brave enough, vulnerable enough to go first?
Okay, hey, I'm Jay Hennessy. I work with the Cleveland Indians. This is my second time being around Next Jump. I went to New York last year, and the experience was fantastic. Read about Next Jump in the book, what is it, Everyone Culture, and was super excited, introduced to Greg through a mutual friend. You probably don't remember Emily Bassett. She attended a thing, and awesome experience. And when the opportunity was to come back, jumped on it absolutely with my team from the Cleveland Indians. This was a great opportunity for us to come, learn, reflect, iterate, and we're just super excited and really appreciative that you all would welcome your doors to us and give us a chance to think about what we do, and a ton to learn. I don't remember everyone's name, so I won't say it, but for everybody at Next Jump, thank you so much. It really meant a lot to us. We appreciate it.
Hi, I'm Angie from the Navy. So I'm not going to say I was a skeptic. I learned today I was an undecided about Next Jump and what it could offer and what the whole purpose and mission of it was. And just within the first day, I was a believer. So I appreciate the fact that you all have opened up your company and have been so honest and so frank with us about, you know what, not everything works, and here's where we failed at, and that's where you really learn. And a lot of people aren't that genuine and honest and open about that. So I really appreciate it, and I just want to thank everybody who, even from the first day of coaching, you all were just like straight out the door, like when we were practicing our coaching, just honest with real life problems and scenarios, and that trusting in us. So that is going to help build the trust, and I'm all about it, and I really, really hope it works. And I really honestly want to thank you all for taking the Navy on board, because this is something we really, really need, and I hope it really does succeed. So thank you all.
Hey guys, Mimi from the Navy. I have to agree with you, not necessarily skeptic, but wasn't fully on board. But if my CO asked me, I was. And so I came here, first day I wasn't even on board. I was like, oh, okay, this sounds like a really nice thing. I'm glad you guys are doing it and it works for you. However, and then you have a million reasons. In fact, it was not until today whenever we had Charlie and Megan share their testimonies and their stories, where I was like, you know what? This can work. I see that they're doing it for a good reason. I didn't think they were doing it for a bad reason originally, but I just wasn't completely sold on the idea. And then after today, I started thinking, okay, well, how could we actually make this work? And I started developing all of these plans in my head. But I'm not going to go home and do full COA, right? Complete COA. But I'm still thinking of all these things that I'm going to do. And so I greatly appreciate not only the Next Jumpers for continuing, not forcing, but continuing to support us and enable us, but also everyone else who's gone through the process, because we've been raw with each other and we've told each other our doubts and our fears, but then also we've been given the positivity side of it, and hey, we can actually make this work. So thank you to everyone who's been involved with the process.
Rudy, I just have to say, you're not getting out of this. You're a full-blown...
We gotta go.
Rudy, Navy as well. I've been working with DDO since late last year, and I've been itching to get up here to Boston to sit down with you guys, and you guys came out to see us, so I figured if I had an opportunity to come out even for a day, I would. I just want to say thanks to all of you guys. We sat in for one day, but I saw a lot of honest, vulnerable sharing, and so if you're going to make it work at your command or at your organization, that's what it takes. And you're going to have to do that with your people. And Charlie and Megan couldn't have been better examples of it today. I'm not a very personal person when it comes to what I share with people in my command, and I always saw vulnerability as a weakness, and it took something like this and a couple of life experiences to realize that it only makes us all more honest and strong to be vulnerable with each other. And you're going to see that coming out in your people, and that's been the biggest thing for the CO and I, is seeing our people come to us with vulnerabilities and being able to share that with them. So keep it up. It does work. There are swamps, but those swamps just make you better people, and just trust the process. And if you have questions, feel free to call either one of us, please. We'd be happy to accept your phone calls. But thank you very much.
I'm Stephanie from Alvarez and Marsal, the lone person that came from my firm, and I feel like I showed up with, this is totally my kind of thing, but with the weight of the expectations of my bosses and my team, and over the course of the past 3 days, really thinking, I mean, everything, I feel like I'm taking notes and like, how do I take this back? And the most helpful thing was hearing stories from such diverse experiences of how they've implemented it, because I thought that there were bits and pieces that I was like, that's exactly the challenge I'm gonna face. And it really kind of it made me feel courageous, hearing the stories, and we pressed through. And I still don't think I fine-tuned it. I know that I have a call on Monday morning, and I really wanna fine-tune my message. Thank you, Jason worked with me a lot, I think, from the very beginning through today. Obviously my teammates who kind of took me in, so wowed by kind of what you guys are trying to accomplish, and that diversity of thought in the room I thought was really helpful. But all this to say, I'm still fine-tuning it. I still feel like I'm processing every day. Every day we would end, and I kind of did a debrief with Egg, and then I woke up more excited, like I don't even know what's going to happen today. So it was really nice how it all came together, and how you didn't actually even give us the answer for how to take it back, that you gave us that space to kind of work through it, and I think I'm still working through it, but amazing, exceeded expectations, especially coming in with that kind of weight of my bosses on my shoulder of, we can't wait to hear how sleep class was, so. Does anyone want to, can I pass this out?
So this is George from Shared Living Collaborative. You've heard my boss's name mentioned quite a lot, Daniela, and it's true, we have a really inspiring sort of leader, but I wanted to say thank you to all the people behind the leaders. We love your leadership, but I have to say, I think our whole group was so appreciative of this afternoon's workshop, which is really a workshop for us with Henry and Weiwei. Just trying to get into the nitty-gritty and talking about how can we bring this back, and what, you know, sort of working it from the ground up with sort of the permission of the leadership from above, and how to sort of integrate, and where do those two things meet. And it was particularly inspiring to hear the challenges that are still going on at NextJump to implement these things. And having been in touch with NextJump for a few years now, kind of even shocking to hear that some of the things that we thought were like the gold standard, you're not doing anymore. And I want to hear more about that, but I wanted to say thank you particularly to all the people who were behind everything, and the you know, working for behind the scenes, bringing the meals, doing the dances, you know, allowing you guys to help us, and really enjoyed it, and wondered if you could get any audiobooks for people who don't read that much. Right. So thank you.
All right, I'll brace myself. This is my 4th time to be around NextJump, so came to Leadership Feedback Academy in November. Got to come back with a member of me and Groot's team who had stayed connected, stayed involved with NextJump. Didn't really feel deserving to come back, but I was glad I got to come along as a +1. It really relit my passion for feedback and for what we can go do to actually try to step out and create a psychologically safe organization for people that desperately need it and are desperately hoping to have a voice in the workplace. I don't think anybody's intentionally trying to stifle that, but it's just happened for a really long time for us in the Navy. Sorry. So, having been here 4 times, though, I just wanted to really thank you. I spoke last time kind of in front of my chair, but I wanted to get up in front of you because I appreciate everything that you do when you bring us here. Especially Boston being a smaller office, I have to think you probably feel this more than they may in New York, just with having a little more support there. So thank you for all the effort. Thank you for everything that's going on behind the scenes. Thank you for letting me work on this just as a lieutenant in the Navy and kind of go back to San Diego and try to grow something there that I believed in passionately. Even back to you, Jeff, I mean, thank you for being here. Thank you for those that are practitioners right now that have gone out and taken a risk with your career, which I think scares everybody in the Navy. What did Charlie say? He said people are willing to risk their lives, but they're not willing to risk their careers, is kind of how he's put that. So for people that will do that and actually dive in, it's extremely impressive to me. I have nothing but respect for you for going out and doing that. So thank you for being willing to take a chance and fight for the right environment that we deserve to have in the Navy and our sailors deserve. So really appreciate you. For the next academy, if you could put out your social list for the week. I know you had karaoke and dodgeball going on. Didn't tell anybody till it was too late, but yeah, thank y'all.
Don't be shy.
So Chris Girdle, lieutenant in the Pacific Northwest, that is, actually just struggling to, actually figure out how best to do my job of, giving the sailor, the voice of the sailor, some of the way someone had phrased it beforehand, and that is exactly the thing that, Brett spoke about, and that we are trying to bring to the organization in a, just a higher intensity. And in many respects, what I think you guys here are really able to do is highlight that on the individual level. So for the people that actually, are forced to be passive aggressive and or just plain aggressive, just finagle us to actually do that work and set up the stage. Thank you very much for that. Because a lot of this is, as much as we think of it as an organizational level, is so much more focused on the individual than that framework, everything we talk about for, the grid of, 2x2, it is focused on an individual to bring them up to that organizational level. And that is something that I continually bring back to myself even, just because as someone that tends towards the insecure side, like even now I'm trying to think of how best to have phrased this and I'm already punting it. But it is, this is what I hope to, enable our sailors to do on a, I'm supposed to give a talk on Tuesday to a crowd of 200 people that I have no idea what the hell to say. And it's through, a situational workshop actually, through people in New York that gave inspiration, that gave, feedback that was largely driven from the products that you guys provided. And so I just want to thank you for all the stuff that you guys have done for the organization and for the sailors that you have not even met, but that the sensation is palpable. For the impact it will have, and it's awesome to be able to get to see it from the command level now, for you guys that already have started to implement this. So I wanted to again thank you guys. I really appreciate it.
But I do want to. Y'all make it look so good. Ari from Shared Living. I'm so immensely proud of my team. In the first day, I was highly skeptical. Second day, I was highly skeptical. Third day, started off a little skeptical, but less so, because we had an amazing talk yesterday. And the space to cultivate creative conversations about what we can bring back to our company was so valuable. I can't put a price tag on that. And then today, continuing that conversation was so, so valuable. And the 5 of us, extremely different, but get along so well. And and all have so much to bring back to our company, and I think that was really reinforced by everything you guys taught us. And you gave us a lot of tools that are tangible and palpable, and we can bring them all back. So if the 5 of us can create new ideas, something as simple as like a little mark on a clipboard, that could really revolutionize the way we care for people. I can only imagine what it would do across the board in our company. So thank you very much.
So Liz with the Naval War College, having gotten to be exposed to Next Jump at the very beginning of their engagements with DoD, I think I was at the second academy that was DoD folks, and you guys probably realize it on some level, but you've been so in the thick of it that you may not fully realize how much your communication and engagement with the DoD folks has evolved. And how sophisticated you've gotten at figuring out how to communicate all of these concepts in a way that will be understood and appreciated faster. So it's really, really evolved. So I think that's just a huge testament to the Next Jump team who has figured out how to talk to us, as well as a huge testament to the Navy folks that are here, because obviously there's skepticism and all of that, but it's really, really becoming understood and accepted. So it's exciting to get to see it 2.5 years apart. Thank you.
So this is my 3rd chance to come to an academy, and I never met a reflection I couldn't speak at. So I have a wide gait, I walk fast, I'm arrogant, and I like to talk over people. And I could go on for an hour about all of the self-awareness I have since coming to the first academy in November. It's kind of scary. Walk through and say something to my wife at home, and she gets pissed at me, and I'm like, arrogant! Yeah, I forgot. I guess for the one day that we've had a chance to spend with you guys, to the Next Jump team, I could already sense that this academy was a lot smoother for you guys, and you seemed calmer. It seemed much easier on the staff, and I hope that correlates for you like it did me, that the presentations and everything I could see were just amazing, and the change even from 2.5 months ago were incredible for me. I had originally wanted to come out for 3 days, but we do have a major assessment starting on Tuesday, and I'm too arrogant to have thought that they could do anything at the office without me for 3 days. But my point is, I'm really excited to see the academy grow. I'm excited to be a part of it. I got to tell you, it's one of my highest honors in my 14-year career to be able to come out here and share anything about leadership with anybody, because that's all I ever wanted to be in the Navy. I wanted to join so bad. I was only able to join the Navy on my 3rd try. And I was at a 2-star command last year on a headquarters staff thinking that I was affecting major changes and policies for the Navy Reserve. And I didn't do shit until I got to Little Rock, Arkansas. And to think that we're having any impact on the Navy at a place like Little Rock is the most counterintuitive thinking I'll probably ever have in my career. But it's because this team's enabling us. And if I could leave you with some advice for our folks in the room that we had a chance to speak with, particularly on the Navy side, just go do it. Don't wait for your boss to tell you that it's okay to use the app if you believe it's the right thing to do. Don't wait until you've got policies and guidelines staring you in the face as to how to implement this. Be the leader that affects the change. I wouldn't have done it if I hadn't been, A, supported by a great team of people who believed in me maybe more than they did becoming a DDO, and the idea that we were going to learn no matter what. And so if you believe even a little bit that this is going to work for you, just go do it. Learn from it, learn fast, talk to people, you'll come out on the other end of this better no matter what. And that's awfully arrogant of me to say, because we haven't proven anything yet other than that we can survive the first 3 months. But I believe in my heart of hearts that 2 years from now, the core group that met today will be looking up at, we really did some things to make sailors better. And I think that's what resonated with me the most today. So I really appreciate the opportunity.
I'm Julia from the Navy, and this has been a really incredible 3 days for me for 2 reasons. One is I've always been, draw a lot of my personal satisfaction and value as an officer from working with young sailors, and the project I've been heading up over the last 8 months or so has focused a lot on feedback and drawn from feedback. And so, first of all, this is a really incredible tool, and my CO Swede, that a lot of you know, when he came back from this academy, or the Feedback Academy, in November, he was really fired up, really excited to bring it on board, and pulled me in to be a part of it with him. And we got on a video conference the next Monday morning, and I don't think this person is here in Boston. They must have been in New York. They were wearing a psychedelic cat astronaut t-shirt. Was it really? See, I don't remember your face, I just remember your t-shirt. And I was thinking, we're sitting there in our flight suits, and you're in your, I was just like, wow, what is this? But, I mean, I wasn't, yeah, it was a moment. I don't know if you could tell my shock on the other end, but no, so what I think back to, though, in that moment is I had no idea, what was on the other side of that call in terms of what a resource this is. And when I talk about the feedback and learning now about the coaching, the concept of the SW, the greater impact that this can have for us really overhauling the way we evaluate people in the Navy, it's just going to be so good. And I feel really lucky to have come and seen what got Swede fired up. Really fortunate to be the JO for my squadron that got to do that. And then on the other side, it was a pretty cool timing for me personally. I'm coming back into the aircraft after 15 months of crazy medical situation during deployment down me as a pilot, and I didn't know if I was going to come back. And that left me in a real credibility gap with my peers who have continued to progress as pilots. And my XO challenged me about 2 weeks ago to, he won't like the concept of LFF because he told me to fake it till you make it, get it together, and lead your peers. And I talk about the things that keep you up at night. For those SWs, it actually kept me up that night. And I've been struggling a lot with it, and the tools that I've gained over the last few days here, pages and pages of notes, have completely changed the way I think about the peer leadership part, and it's going to make a huge difference for me. So thank you to all of you for your huge amount of hard work. Jason here last night at 10:30 p.m., still answering our questions, telling us how it really is, and it's just huge, and I really appreciate it. Thanks.
Where's Ruben? Did Ruben leave? Oh, he had to leave early. You guys have a good one in Ruben, by the way. Your whole team's good, but I like Ruben.
So, first off, I'm extremely appreciative of learning how to dance on this trip. I think my wife will also appreciate that. So, can I get a whoop whoop? All right. No, I think you bringing up Ruben and our whole group, bringing everyone here, I think it helped us bond even closer and have some tools that we've been talking about, how we can bring that back to make an impact. So that'll be a lot of fun to wrestle with. And then, too, just hearing now the mission of the organization, getting the culture tour early on and going through the last few days was, it was really cool to see the processes of how you bring this deliberately developmental organization to life. But then to hear the mission at the end and what it's all for was pretty inspiring. So just excited to see how far you guys can take it and how you can impact systemic change in the Navy, in Fortune 1000 companies, and if you're able to make places a better place to work, where it has a holistic approach and people feel supported, I mean, I can't think of a more worthy cause. So very cool to learn about that, and it'll be a lot of fun for us to wrestle with some of these things and see how we can apply them as well to make baseball a better place to work. So thanks.
Too many Navy folks. Darren McClurg, also from the War College. As far as thanks go, maybe after about 6 months of therapy, I might be able to thank you for the dance, Jim. Probably not before then, but that's probably not gonna. That's a back end that's probably not gonna get any better. As bunch of knocks against the Navy. It's pretty easy and sometimes justified to criticize the Navy for the way it works or doesn't in some respects. But for anybody who's spent any length of time in the Navy, you've probably been at a command where it works pretty well. So maybe 10% of our commands do a fair amount of what you guys do in terms of personal development. And even in commands that are dysfunctional or even toxic, you've still got a lot of good sailors in those commands as well. And I suspect that they can make this work, given the resources to do it. And that's one of the things we're trying to do down at the Naval War College with leader development. So now everybody who comes through the War College has to go through that curriculum, and the DDO type stuff is part of that. And so what I would really thank you for, though, is sort of throwing down the gauntlet. I suspect we needed the challenge / punch in the nose, maybe not via the dance class, but the rest of it, I think that's sort of a catalyst that maybe we needed. So appreciate that very much.
John McDonald, Cleveland Indians. I felt like Jay said it all earlier. We're kind of contemplating, do we talk on top of Jay? Because he said it so well. But from my perspective, Megan's sister is my wife's brother's wife. So,
Wait a minute.
right. I said that correctly. Hold on. My wife's, Megan, is my wife's brother's wife's sister.
No.
Yeah. No, Megan, hold on, let me go again. Is my wife's brother's wife's sister. Yes, that one's right. I did not know what the company was all about. Had heard conversations, but with kids running around, never knew actually what you guys did. Vaguely knew the name of it. When Jay said the name of it, I'm like, God, sounds just a little bit familiar. I did a little more digging, and I'm like, wow, I'm going to go learn this for the family. Perfect. Brought a little emotion into play. Megan and Charlie later in the day, nothing's wrong with a little bit of emotion. I think we all like that, the passion that everyone brings to what they do in leading, teaching, learning. Continue to learn here for the last 3 days. I did learn how to sleep. I can't remember the last time I could nap in the middle of the day. Awesome Wednesday, 30 minutes out snoring. I loved it. I need to do it more often. And I like failure. I've always thought learning through failure, embracing failure, how you're going to learn will mess up, and encourage people to mess up and teach kids that it's okay to make a mistake. We teach our infielders to throw the ball away, because the only way you're going to figure out how to dial it all in is if you know what it feels like to make your mistakes. So thank you for your patience with us over the last couple of days as we navigate through this, and for me getting to meet everybody and learn how other companies are run, and we're trying to do it. Thank you very much.
Anyone else?
Hey everyone, this is Jason from Next Jump. Not sure if we met, but hi. I just wanted to I don't know. I tried planning for this, but my brain hurt, so I didn't. So here I am. But I'm really grateful, and I'll start with that and get my hands out of my pockets. I'm grateful for Next Jump, for pushing my boundaries, and I'm grateful for attendees for us pushing our boundaries. The work that you all do, and when you come here and you give it your all, inspires us all to work harder. I know Charlie mentioned, like, these reflections mean a lot, and they do. Sorry. I know we don't have all the answers, and as someone who wants to see everyone win, it's really hard to not have all the answers, but I love that we try. I love that we try, you listen, and you try, and we try together. It warms my heart. That's it. I'm just really grateful, so thank you.
Want to try following that? We didn't. Anyone? Should we just do quick rounds of the people left?
So, Alex with the Cleveland Indians, and Jay and Josh and Johnny Mack said a lot. I don't want to necessarily repeat that, but certainly want to thank you. Very grateful for opening, obviously, your workplace to us, sharing that with us, sharing your stories with us, sharing your culture with us. And so when I reflect and think about the takeaways as we go back and continue to build our own culture, the things that I will think about is how much you care about your people, how much you care about the development of your people, and how much that culture means to you. And so when you've done a lot of impressive things, and the things that stand out are, I mean, you've identified the drivers of your culture, and then you've put actual practices in place to continue making sure that had an impact. And as we heard Dan Coyle talk about on Wednesday night, culture is such a powerful thing. I mean, ridiculous the power that it brings and to your success. And a lot of times we just think it happens by chance. And you've made it a choice of continuing to drive that culture, and just figuring out ways that we can continue to do the same things, I think is the biggest benefit that I think about. So thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Christian. My name's John Harriman, Cleveland Indians. I'll be by far the worst speech of the Cleveland Indians, so we'll finish strong with me. But as you probably noticed, I didn't do a reflection because that's one of my backhands. I don't have much of an academic background. Speaking in front of crowds is tough for me, and that's what I've been challenged by my people to get better at, and to put myself out there and actually not doing a reflection. I was kind of kicking my ass back there, like, why did you not go up there? That's one of your backhands. That's one of your weaknesses. That's where you're trying to get better. So, but I do want to thank Next Jump. The last 3 days have been unbelievable. Thank you for the opportunity. You've really made me challenge myself, like, think deeply, be uncomfortable. What works for us? Where can we get better? How can we improve as people and improve as a company with the Cleveland Indians? So just being challenged the last 3 days has been uncomfortable, but fun and challenging and really rewarding. So thank you. And then I don't want to hold this mic all day, but I do want to thank Jay Hennessy and Josh Gibson. You guys came to us 18 months ago. Didn't know you guys. We've become friends. You guys have been tremendous coaches, and you just continue to challenge us as people for personal development and professional development. And I would like you to continue to challenge me to be uncomfortable, and find ways to improve myself. So thank both of you guys.
So we just go. Anyone last? No? Okay. So maybe I'll end this and we'll go kind of just right into our core needs. But the, I guess I'll say this. So where's Jason? Did he leave? Jason was like, Jason's like, I need to take a break. I'll just read in kind of my own point of view. I think one of the things that maybe Jason kind of captured is this academy in particular, like it's stretched us. It stretched us in the business. I'm sure it may come out in some of the core needs. It stretched Tom and I, you know, in a variety of different ways, which means you have to just put, by no choice, a lot of ownership on the team. So I think maybe two things I'll say and just kind of end with. I'm really grateful and proud of the team. This is a hard week, and it's I'm sure more will come, but I'm really proud and grateful for it. So I'll pause till I get to the coordinators on that. But the second part is, and I forget who exactly said it, but maybe it was Sue that kind of said of one of the parts that when we're here at the last academy, we're in our first coaching. This is only our second coaching academy. As you can see, we have a few kinks we're getting out. But one of the things that I think was, and I said last time, was that the spirit of the group last time and kind of getting into the arena was like, sometimes you forget when you're in the minutiae of the work. It's hard to pull your head up, and I needed it. I think Tom needed it. And this time was the one part I feel that was missing was that there were, you know, that I think was added to this. I'm sorry that John had to leave and Rudy had to leave and kind of Guillermo, but I think the part that felt a little bit missing, particularly with the Navy, and we'd gone really deep with them, was like leaders that had really gone all in and were practicing it, as opposed to kind of dipping their toe in. And I think, like, I know how hard it is to kind of go first and put yourself out there, and the criticism that you get and the fear that it takes. And I knew that, and I just feel, you know, thankful to the people that are in this room, thankful to those two, you know, where this has come in the last 2.5 months. And so it's really rejuvenating, because come Monday we'll be battling the day-to-day stuff. And so, you know, one of the things we talk about in Academy is you're part of our family. It's nice to see kind of friendly faces. And for those of you who kind of came this time for the first time, you know, I hope you feel you're part of this, and that we'll be part of our journey together again.